All right, all right, all right. Thank you for joining me yet again, guys. Appreciate it. Mr. T, thank you for the 5x5. Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5x5. Water Tiger, round two. Everybody else, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys follow me in two spots. You guys could be going to sleep. I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. Some days, man, I don't even want to do the second episode. But I was truly annoyed when I saw that they were going after, and I'm not making excuses for Luigi Mangione. I'm making excuses for him. But before we get into that, all right, all right, all right. WTC, thank you for the 5x5. Dan Phillips, already said that. Colleen, Wallace, Stephanie, thank you for the 5x5. WTC, let's go. Joe, Emily, Prep to Adapt, Evolving Media, Cowboy, Dobie, Sean, Patty, Groundhog, Crow, thank you for the 5x5. Williams, Jeep, Maria, Bass, Devil Dog, thank you for the 5x5. Water Tiger, thank you for the 5x5. Christian, Jahir, Mackenzie, thank you for the 5x5. Sway, thank you for the 5x5. Kathy Avacito, Kathleen, thank you for the 5x5. Appreciate it, guys. Patrick, thank you for the 5x5. So, checking in from Arizona, 7 p.m. here. No shit, Mitch. Nice. Nice. All right. Thank you for the Bacon Spam by Bacon Spam. Suds. How do you say that? Restore justice at tariffs are good and necessary. I don't think tariffs are good and or necessary for anybody who does it. I think it's just another bullshit fucking scam tax or however you want to call it. It's not needed. There are a lot of taxes and shit that are not fucking needed, and that's one of them. But anyway, reason why I'm talking about Luigi Mangione today is because when I saw what they were charging, or rather what they were going after in court with him, I was super annoyed. I was sitting there and I'm reading the internet, minding my fucking business, and I come over fucking Luigi Mangione, and I'm like, the government, or rather the state of New York, is going after him, and they're going after the death penalty. Now, why do I think that that's a problem? Well, because, listen, I think he did it. I thought it was a patsy too, but there was the way he walked, and the way he walked, it's identical. You can't even get around that. But anyway, people are like, oh, he shouldn't have done what he done. This, I said, listen, I sort of understand. I've been upset at CEOs and shit to a level that I can understand that. But that's not the point. My point is that this guy who offed one man, puts a bullet in the back of a guy's head, kills him. All right, fine. Throw him in jail, 20 or 30 years, or maybe life. But restore justice, that's exactly my point. He killed one of the elites. He put one of them to bed forever. And I know that this is a message for anybody else if they're thinking about doing this. Because they're going, listen, there are people out there who, recently in New York, have offed kids. One guy threw a kid against the wall. Like a fucking dodgeball. And the kid is done, toast. And he's getting 20 or 30 years for a kid. This man kills a grown man, offs a grown man, puts him to bed, and he's getting the death penalty. There is something seriously wrong with society when you're looking to put somebody on death row for another grown man, but you got people out here whacking kids left and right, diddling kids, and then whacking them left and right, and they're getting life in prison, 20 years, 30 years there, good behavior off in 15. But they want to go after the death penalty for this guy to set an example for the rest of the elites. So I bring that up is because this shows you how much power the elite has. Just when you think that, some cases they can't touch, they're touching the shit out of this one. They're absolutely going after this one. to make him as the example. It doesn't make sense. Hudson Valley, yeah, I get it. And that's the problem. No one's calling it out. No one's saying this shit out loud. They're like, wait a minute, you're going to put this man on trial for the death penalty, or to receive the death penalty, excuse me, but a guy just played dodgeball with his kid, and another guy punched, I think, his kid to, in the stomach, and he didn't get the death penalty. He's getting, I think, either 20 years or 25 or some shit like that. Again, you're talking about people who are abusing kids and nothing's happening to them. That is, I mean, like, and again, I don't understand why no one's calling it out. Like, as the lawyer, I'd be like, wait a minute, you kidding me? I'm like, this man took another man's life. Granted, put him in jail forever, but you're going to go after the death penalty? And I would pull up all the cases in the last 6 months where these guys got 25 to life. With good behavior, maybe parole. Some guys are never getting out. But this guy is, something ain't right. Something ain't sitting right here. And again, I get it. It's one of their own. But like, no one sees that. No one's seeing that the elite is controlling this. The elites are controlling this. It's bad news, man. Because what that means is that some of these people, again, when you start fucking with people and their health, which they've been doing us for years, insurance companies have been screwing us over for decades. And I know a lot of us have been upset to a point where we wanted to do something. Well, he did something about it. And everybody, goes, oh, he's a punk, he's this, he's that. He did something about it. He wasn't just talking shit online. He wasn't shaking his fist at the camera. He got it done. To be fair, he also has nothing to fall back on. Like, he doesn't have family. He doesn't have a wife and kids. I mean, maybe if he had a wife and kids, maybe he wouldn't have gone that far. But this is just, again, I'm a little bothered by the fact that you could do whatever you want to do to a kid, but shoot another grown man and you got life in prison. I mean, you're getting the chair, right? Is it the chair here? Or is it the gas chamber? I think it's the gas chamber here, not the chair. It's not lethal injection. Yeah, that's for sure. It's not lethal injection. But again, I still think it's bad. It's bad news, right? And it just shows how much strength and power they have. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we had an interesting situation in Brooklyn with a couple of people, the crew, right, that had a tunnel underneath their synagogue. Now, keep in mind, when you bring that up on YouTube, they shut your shit down for that, by the way. When you talk about the tunnel in Brooklyn, they shut it down. A couple YouTubers were talking about how they spoke about it, and the channel, that video got deleted. And it didn't even get a strike. It just got deleted. Right? So you talk about that incident, and of course, those people, the Hasids, had that little tunnel underneath that building, and there were blood-soaked mattresses. And it was in the news. The New York Post, I think, put the pictures in the news. And then the story died. Now, obviously, that shows you what kind of power those people have. If they were talking about this underground tunnel under that building, and they saw kid-sized chairs in there and red-stained beds, again, and nobody wants to talk about that, because as soon as you start talking about that, they start talking about anti-Semitic this and that. They play the woe is me card very hard. The whole, Hasidic community, they play that they throw it on the table. They walk into the room, anti-Semite, and everybody's like anti-Semitic now. They play that. I don't give a fuck. I will throw them under the bus. I will I downloaded some of those pictures from online just so that you get in a conversation when you start pulling up like, what the fuck is this? This was under there. That was under there too. And they don't want to talk about it. This is where, guys, sometimes getting shit done Um, the silence on that. Yo, the silence, Bonnie, the silence on that was deafening. That was a deafening silence. I've never in my life heard anything so loud while being quiet at the same time. They didn't press charges on anyone. The NYPD swept that under the rug. They don't even bring it up again. They had evidence, pictures all over the internet of what was under there, and no one's talking about it. That to me, like, listen, I get in trouble in New York City. I'm going to bring that shit up every time I get in trouble now. I'm like, you guys seemingly had proof of these guys trafficking kids and nothing was said. And yes, they traffic kids. They're probably one of the bigger groups of people that do it, by the way. Nobody wants to talk about that shit either. They're probably going to whack me by the end of this video, but it's fine. Restore justice. The black card doesn't have any weight anymore. Not over the rainbow card and the Muslim card. Scott Peace, thank you for the donation. If the black card you throw it on the table, they just push it to the side now. We don't want to hear that shit. But you throw the rainbow card on the table or the trans card, forget it, man. You won that argument right out of the gate. Give love to Mobutu. Yeah, Mobutu's fighting a war right now in Africa. Leave him alone. He's got to focus. Can't call him anymore. Dropping bombs over there. Someone said the chair is back. Yeah, man, the chair is back. The leprosy chair. In the pandemic, NYC forcefully jabbed elderly and assisted living. Yes, they did. Roy Batty. That's another part they don't talk about. They were giving people the arm ticket who did not request it. But a lot of, to be fair, a lot of old people wanted it. You can tell old people anything. Like right now, we're all like, fuck that, we'll never take it. If we reach the age of 70, 80, we're like, I'm going to take that shot so I don't get sick. The only shot that I'm looking forward to taking, the only one is the one for Alzheimer's. But right now, before I get to that point, I'm doing everything under the sun naturally to combat Alzheimer's. That's my mission. Go for a walk, work out. What is it? Black seed oil. Lower my sugar intake, which I've done dramatically. I for the last few months, and especially after what happened, I was drinking like 5 to 6 cups of coffee, maybe more, maybe 8 cups of coffee a day. Now I'm down to 1. For 2 days straight, I did 1 cup of coffee. In the firehouse, I'm up to 3. But then that's it. I'm up to 3 cups. I'm down dramatically, trying to get my sugar down. On apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, by the way, guys, before you eat, especially if your meal is going to be a little on a high carb side, you should definitely have apple cider vinegar. It brings your blood sugar down. Alzheimer's is great. Watchmen is not great because you are still there. And I've watched my father go in and out of it, and you can see the look on his face. One time, there was a look on his face as if he sort of knew that he would come back, and it was almost like he was gone somewhere. But when he came back, he would sort of know, like, fuck, like what was going on, and then he would forget again. So it's not a way to go, man. It sucks. Because you black out for a large portion of those times. And the longer it goes on, you can black out and wake up, and before you know it, you look in the mirror, and you're like fucking 2-3 years older now, right? Or shit changed, So, yeah, Alzheimer's is not great at all. It's a terrible way to go. And I watched my grandfather and my father go through it, but my grandfather and my father were both sugar monsters. They love sugar. And then I saw the pattern, and now I'm seeing this thing about sugar and how Alzheimer's might be a type 3 diabetes. At least they're trying to declare it as such. I don't know if they're ever going to get there, but they're trying to declare it as such. But yeah. Walking, working out, staying in shape, reading, lowering your sugar intake. Limeade. I have limeade. I have to take that picture. I'm gonna set my table for all my vitamins. You guys are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And to be fair, I also had subscriptions to a lot of these vitamins, and so I forgot, and I would just keep getting shit in the mail. which I reminded myself I gotta fucking cancel a couple right now. Yes, RWD channel is right. Omega 3 fish pills will combat dementia because fat. Your brain needs fat, right? So these fat-free diets that they want you on, Johnny, whatever your last name is, yeah, you can combat it now or slow it down. Coat hanger. You can definitely slow it down. But your brain needs fat. And so when they want you on a fat-free diet, fat-free diets and the lack of good cholesterol adds to dementia as your brain needs that fat to operate. So when people start going on these fat-free diets and they start taking these pills for their cholesterols and shit, they suspect that the cholesterol pills are adding to the dementia and Alzheimer's, right? So there's a lot of new shit coming out about it. And the one thing they know for fact is that you need fat on the brain, good fat. Avocados, shit like that, certain peanuts. And salt is good for the blood as well. I'm salt crazy, but my blood pressure is super low. And there was a study done on, was it 500,000 people, like 500,000 people, something like that. I gotta get it again. But matter of fact, hold on, I can just pull it up. There was a cool study done on, I want to say 100. It was over 100,000 people, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, 500,000 people. It was a study conducted out of Israel for 49 countries, and the 500,000 people who had high salt intake in their diet had the best blood pressure. And this was done, I think, a year or two ago, this study. So, and guys in the firehouse used to always wonder why my blood pressure was so low. My blood pressure, for somebody like me, you would take my blood pressure and you would think I was dead, right? And they would use the big cuff. Even if you use the small cuff, my blood pressure was still 130/90 with the small cuff. With the cuff that fits my arm, it was always like 70 under, what was it? 120. The last time I had 70, excuse me. The last time I had it was 90/65. And I remember the nurse looking at it and getting nervous, and she did it a couple times. And I go, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "Your blood pressure's too low." I'm like, "It's always like that. It's been like that since I was young." But again, so that was an interesting story, an interesting study done with salt. But the salt you should be taking is pink Himalayan salt, like someone just mentioned. Sea salt, right? Stay away from the iodized salt. That's no good. Iodine salt. I use that to clean my my cast irons. And I can't pronounce that RDW, but I will look that up. I can't pronounce that shit at all. It will help the brain. Yeah, there's a lot of shit to help the brain. What is it? There's something called NDA, ND something. That helps the brain as well. Moringa helps with the brain. I think lime manes help with the brain as well. What the fuck was it? There was something else. There's a couple things that help with the brain. Can't think about it offhand. But yeah, anyway. Just wanted to talk about that bullshit. That bullshit that went down with this guy. Because I'm like, yo, that's fucking nonsense. That's complete bullshit. They're going to throw the chair at this dude. And you got people trafficking and throwing kids away as they traffic them, getting caught. No, not NAC, not NAC. I think it was like NAD or some shit like that, or NDA, or something weird. I have it inside. It's obviously it's on my table with everything else on it. But yeah, I thought it was just bullshit, and no one's calling it out. The treatment for low blood pressure is to watch Dietary proper videos. Yeah, that would be cool, right? I feel so soothing now listening to this asshole scream and yell at the mic. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go off the air now. Thank you for joining me. I might do a Saturday live stream. I might not. I'm not sure yet. Depends on what happens. If I end up down south, it'll be after like Monday or Tuesday. If I head down south, if I got to get the tours off and all this other bullshit. But anyway, other than that, I will see you guys Tuesday. If you don't see me Tuesday, that's because I'm heading down there. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for donating. Thank you for following. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you.